Hey there, welcome. We're live. So I'm just going to give you 20 seconds. Usually takes about 20 seconds after I've started the broadcast for everyone to join. Today I'm going to be taking you, welcome. Today I'm going to be taking you to the Mutianyu section of the Great Wall. It's about 60 kilometers outside of Beijing. And so we're going to be about 45 minutes. We're going to take a cable car, and then we're going to be climbing the Great Wall for about 40 minutes after that. So welcome everyone, and please, if you just joined, just type in a comment so I can see here. I can see some of you have joined. That'd be great. Okay, so my name is Matt. This is Travel the World with Matt, and today we're gonna climb the Great Wall together. So let's begin, and let's start with the cable car, and I'll tell you all about that and the section that we're going with. So I filmed this on the 28th of December, and excellent. You'll see that the Great Wall is in Beijing and in China right now. It's winter as well, so you're going to see some snow up on the Great Wall. So this part of the Tianyu section of the Great Wall is actually quite difficult to get to. It's about 70 kilometers from Beijing, so you usually take about a 2.5 hour bus. It's not really accessible by public transport, and the great thing is, yes, so this sound, the next video I've muted it more, so you should be able to hear me better. So it's about 2.5 hours from downtown Beijing to get to this Mutianyu section of the wall. You take a bus, and then from the bus you take a short shuttle ride. It's about 5 minutes, and then there's a number of options when you're here at the Great Wall. So you can hike up about, what? I see your comments. You should be able to hear me when you switch to the next video because I muted that one.
每颗心都有一个诗与远方的向往，在北京脚步匆忙，
So it's winter right now. Beijing around there. So
再一
there
次走
wasn't
进
snow
这
when I
里，
arrived the week before.
体验它
Minus
雄伟壮丽的自然景观，
15 degrees
感受它
and it had
悠
snow.
长的
Still
人文文
snow.
化，欣赏它外表当年逼人，内心含蓄温暖的
So
情
what
调，
I've done is I've muted the next clip.
自己的内
So the
心
next clip you'll be able to hear me. Okay, this is just a short clip. It's only about 5 minutes. So 1 more minute until we get up to the Great Wall.
会说，我爱它。
Welcome, Diane. So we're now taking the cable car, but you can walk up to the Great Wall. This is the quickest and easiest way. There's also a ski lift, and if you want to go down the Great Wall, believe it or not, you've got a toboggan. It's a lot of different options going up and down the Great Wall. So we're about to get to the top, and when we get to the top, I'm going to switch videos. Mute the other ones. Okay. So that was the cable car, one of like 4 different ways you can get up to the Great Wall. You can hike, you can take the cable car, you can take the a ski lift, and on the way down you can also take a toboggan. Now I'm going to show you the rest of the other video. I've muted it, so you should be able to hear me loud and clear. Hopefully if everything goes right, but I'll watch your comments. And I've got my little headphones, so I must, and I still link them, so maybe let me just check. Okay, can you hear me better now? I forgot that I had my AirPods linked, and my AirPods were sitting on the chair there. So can you hear me better now? Let me know, and then I'll show you the next part. So the next part, what I did is I hiked about half an hour, or like an hour away, about 40 minutes away, and then to the top of the section, like the furthest you can go along the Great Wall, and then we're gonna hike, and you're gonna get this beautiful view, because I hiked all the way to the top. We're gonna get a beautiful view over the whole of the wall. So just give me. Okay, thanks, Carly. Now for the next video, I have muted the audio, so you should be able to hear me clearly. And let's check it out. I just want to show you a quick. So this is actually from the tour. So this shows you the wall, and then where the red arrow is pointing, that's where we've taken the cable car. And then we're gonna start our walk right on the left-hand side where that last tower is, and then we're gonna walk all the way back to the cable car. So that's what we're gonna do, and it's gonna take about 42 minutes to do that. Oh, the earpods haven't changed anything. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna walk along there, and we'll talk more about we'll talk more about what we can see. Okay, let's go. Okay, so here we are at the top. You can't walk any further than this. And we're gonna take an amazing 42-minute walk down. And while we do that, I'll tell you more about Great Wall. You can see it was snowing previously, just epic views. So when I'm taking this video, this has been about an hour of hiking up, and we're gonna hike all the way down. Look at that. There's the Great Wall going down there. Very steep. So the Mutianu, this is a section of the Great Wall, is located about 70 kilometers or 43 miles northeast of the city center of Beijing. And it's one of the best preserved parts of the Great Wall. And it previously served as the northern barrier defending the capital and the imperial. Thank you. Great, D. So, and so it also served as the northern barrier that defended the capital, so Beijing, and also the imperial tombs. So we're going to be going to the imperial tombs. They're actually called the Ming tombs. So this is how steep it is. You can see how people are walking, and here I am holding the gimbal. But don't worry, I never fell. I was very responsible. Super steep. Really an epic adventure. And we're going to be going to those tombs. They're called the Ming tombs. It's where the emperors of the Qing dynasty were buried. Those were the Qing dynasty was around the 15th century, and we're going to be going there in next month, beginning of next month. I'll be taking you there. So this section of the wall is open to visitors, and there are 3 ways to ascend and 4 ways to descend. So you can take the cable car like I did, you can take the ski lift, or you can walk the 4,000 steps up, but I wouldn't recommend that, because look where you're climbing. If you already just climbed the wall and it's 4,000 steps, you're going to be exhausted climbing here. So rather just take the cable car or the ski lift on the way up would be my recommendation. Look at those mountains, beautiful. And then on the way down, besides taking the cable car and the ski lift, you also have the option to take a toboggan, which is really random, really cool. You can see on there's snow. The week before I'd come to the Great Wall, it had been minus 15 degrees. Now this was taken on the 28th of December, and it was the most beautiful day. So the mountains are covered in snow from the previous week where it was minus 15. But that day I brought my gloves and my hat. But when I was hiking the Great Wall, I took it all off, and it was just the perfect day. Now yeah, it is really, really steep. Deanne saying these people in front of you do not look comfortable going down. It's extremely, extremely steep. You'll see when we get to the bottom, I'm going to turn the camera and I'm going to look back up, and it is incredibly steep. So it's built mainly with a granite wall that is 6 to 8.5 meters high. That's about 23 to 28 feet high. And the top, it varies in sections, but it's about between 2 and 5 meters wide, or about 13 to 16 feet wide. But compared with the other sections of the Great Wall, this section, the Mutianyu, really possesses really unique characteristics in its construction. One of those unique characteristics is the watchtowers. The watchtowers on this particular section of the Great Wall are densely packed. You can see them now. There's one on our left-hand side, there's one on the right, and if I just would move the camera up, you'll see even more. So it's really densely packed with watchtowers. Along this section, there's 22 on this 2,250 meter or 7,380 foot stretch. Now you'll see, like on each side of the wall, the wall is not straight. It's got those little parapets, and that was so archers could fire from both sides of the wall, and then they could, hide easily. And besides the Great Wall, the area that we're looking at is surrounded by woodland and streams, and the forest coverage is at a rate of 90%. So it's really, you can see it's just beautifully covered, very far out from the city. Cindy's asking what how high we are. I'm not sure exactly how Beijing. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but it's about 4,000 steps up. Now, in 1983, the State Council of the People's Republic of China approved the restoration of this part of the wall. And in 1995, they established a management group that would look after this wall, and it was opened to tourists in 1986, and then was chosen to be one of Beijing's 16 scenic spots in the same year. And then in 1987, the Great Wall was selected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In 1988, the tourist area was like completely opened, and in 1992, it was rated one of the top tourist spots, or the top tourist spots in Beijing. So now we're almost coming to the bottom part of the a very, very steep hike. So we're almost there. I think I may turn around at this point. We'll see, but so certainly when we get to the bottom, yeah, I'm going to turn around now. you get a sense of how incredibly high we are. Yeah, so what Deanne's asking, is there wall support? Yeah, so especially on this steep section, there are little like places where you can sit. You saw those people sitting there, and of course when you on the Great Wall of China, it doesn't matter where you are. I find this whenever you travel somewhere, it doesn't matter how remote it is, there'll always be somebody selling you a Coke or a drink or whatever you need, gloves. So, and that was that man there. Yeah, Neil's asking, do they shovel the snow? Yes. So they do shovel the snow, and that's why you'll see with the snow that's on the Great Wall, it's all shoveled to the right-hand side. So let's talk about just the general, like the Great Wall of China, how it came about and all that. So the Great Wall is actually, like, I always imagined it as one complete wall, and I thought of having this adventure where I could go from one side to the other, but it's actually not like that. It's a series of fortifications that were built across the historical northern borders of the ancient Chinese states and also Imperial China, and it was used as protection against the various nomadic groups from the Eurasian steppes, the Mongolians. Now, several walls were built from as early as the 7th century BC, but it wasn't. Oh, look at that, beautiful! You can see the snow. And now what's going to happen now is when we're going to go downstairs. This is one of the watchtowers. We're going to go downstairs, and we'll have got windows in the watchtower, and you get different little viewpoints from each window. Yeah, so it started very, very early on in the 7th century, but then the first major work that started on the Great Wall was when the very first emperor, Emperor Qing, the first emperor of China, he decided to build up the walls more and maintain stretches of the border walls. Now the Great Wall that we see today, hey Shark, is most of it is built by the Ming Dynasty. So this includes this wall over here, and they were around. The Ming Dynasty was around from 1368 to 1644, and they're also known just for their craftsmanship, and they really make things look really beautiful, and that's why you've got all these watchtowers, and wow, look, epic. Now, apart from defense, there were other purposes for the Great Wall that included like having a border patrols, allowing the imposition of duties and goods transported along the Silk Road, of course. It was all about trade, and China was at the end of the Silk Road, and so they could regulate and encourage trade and control of immigration and emigration, all because of the Great Wall. And the defensive characteristics of the Great Wall were enhanced by the construction of watchtowers, like the one we're in right now. So they have a little metal ladder that we'll just walk down. I'm going to take you to a window. We can have a look at the Great Wall through there. Let's see if we can get a nice view. Now, there are other sections that are more accessible than this section. There's actually one that's, you can literally take, it's called the Badaling section. You can take a bus or even a high-speed train, and it will drop you off literally at the Badaling section of the Great Wall. So that one's more accessible. But because it's more accessible, you often find that there's just way more people there. So the nice thing about coming here to the Mutianyu section is there way less people, which is nice. You feel like you've got the wall to yourself at some points. And as well as, just being like a defensive, having a defensive aspect, the Great Wall also served as a transportation corridor. You could take things and move them quickly along the wall. And today, the defensive system of the Great Wall is generally recognized as one of the most impressive architectural feats in history. Now, the Chinese were familiar with the technique of wall building by the 8th and 5th centuries BC. And during this time, like during the Warring States period, they started constructing like a very basic Great Wall. Instead of using these bricks that you see here, they use wood, and they would sandwich earth and gravel between like two wooden boards, and this was mainly to withstand attack of small armies with their swords and spears. So that was like the humble beginnings of the Great Wall. Now, transporting large quantities of materials required for construction was quite difficult, so builders always tried to use local resources. Stones from the mountains were used, and then also the Great Wall looks really impressive, but actually, the actual wall itself, the middle part is actually just earth, so it looks really big. But if you looked inside, it would be all the gravel and the earth that is sitting on the mountain. If you do like a cross section, you'll be able to see. Yeah, so the various dynasties, starting from the Warring States, they started building like really simple walls, to the first emperor, the Qin Emperor, that's when they started consolidating the walls, to then the Ming Dynasty. That was when they really started. The walls that we see today these really impressive walls are from the Ming Dynasty, from the 14th century. And the Ming construction is stronger and more elaborate, and they use bricks. You can see, yeah, those especially Cindy's saying the brick slabs are huge too. Yeah, especially those bricks that we're walking along. They're just really massive. Now we're coming through to another watchtower, and I'll probably stop inside and look for another window. Look at that. They have these small little holes you can look through as well. Now, the great thing about visiting the Great Wall of China is going in different seasons. So now I went in the middle of winter. Everything's very dry, there's lots of snow, but we can come back here in summer and it will look completely different, very green, and just the contrast is amazing. So this is the middle of winter and you've got snow and all the trees are bare. But we come back in 6 months' time, completely different story, just covered in greenery. So really recommend, if you're able to come in different seasons, you're gonna be able to experience something different each time. And that's that top bit over there that I just turned around. That is where we've climbed. Now, Julie's saying this. Yeah, I've posted these two. I'm still figuring out the new website. I need to connect my tours to that. So towards the end of the Ming Dynasty, the Great Wall helped defend the empire against the Manchu invasions that began in 1600, and unfortunately the Manchus eventually did seize Beijing, but it held its. Oh yeah, Julie, just hit the subscribe button and you can see all my past tours as well. Now, the white between the bricks is a sticky rice mortar. It consists of a sticky rice soup mixed with a slaked lime, and that was used extensively to hold the bricks together. And amazing that it's just kept together like this. They've really looked after it. Now you can. There are sections of the wall that have been completely broken down, and it's really interesting to go to like the really old parts of the wall, and then come here and see that contrast. There's some great YouTubers there's a YouTuber that I follow that went to like an old section of the wall that like no one visited, and then he came to this section, and to see that contrast is really interesting. Now, it's often said that the Great Wall is visible from space. It's not true, unfortunately. It sort of just blends into the background because it's only 4 or 5 meters long, and to be able to see it from, it's like trying to see a hair from like 3 kilometers away. Very difficult to see. Now, when I was there, we had about 2 hours at the Great Wall, and I spent the first hour climbing to the point. I took the cable car and then spent the first hour walking to the point where we started the tour, and then I ended where the cable car is. But the wall does continue further, and if you have a little more time, and for our tour, I took a tour where the bus left at a certain time, so I just had enough time to do this section. But this was by far the most spectacular section. Look at that! See that last tower up there? That's where we began our tour. Wow! And I love the snow on the right hand side. They've shoveled it there. It's on the left hand side now. Now, if I ever come back to Beijing, I hope to come back again. I'll definitely come in summer to experience what it looks like then. So green. So yeah, before the use of bricks, the Great Wall was mainly built from like rammed earth, stones, and wood. And then during the Ming Dynasty, that's characterized by the use of bricks and that lime. So like that, you can see it here, like those black, like gray brick with the white lime. That is very like characteristic of what we think of when we see the Great Wall. So the closer we get to the cable car, the more people will see when we started off, there are lots of people at the top end of the cable car, but we can have lots of sections now where there's just not many people around. So this is like a good time to take a postcard and just experience what it's like being there. So, Diane says, thanks, Matt. Nice recollections. I first walked the wall in 1979. I would love to know, Diane, did you come to the Mutianyu section or did you go to the Badaling section? If you came to Beijing, you may have gone to either of those. So I left in the morning at about 9:30, and it took about 2.5 hours to get here. So 10, 11, 12, and then like another half an hour because we're quite a big group. So we got up at like 12:30 and had the next like 2.5 hours up here, which was the perfect amount of time. And then it got back to Beijing Central at about 4:35. So it's a full day activity, but this is around the middle of the day. But keep in mind, it's winter in Beijing, and so very cool. So the Ming Dynasty, they really made a big impact on the Great Wall, and a lot of the Great Walls that we see today are from the Ming Dynasty. During the Ming Dynasty, they constructed over 25,000 watchtowers, and just on this section of the wall, there's 22 towers, like the one we have in front of us. So just they're really well fortified. As the Mongol raids continued periodically over the years, the Ming Dynasty devoted considerable resources to repairing and reinforcing the walls. And the walls around Beijing, or near the capital of Beijing, were especially strong. So this is one of those walls. I love traveling in winter because you just the sun's not too harsh, and I prefer the cold. So, and the snow is just beautiful. You do have to be quite careful though, because the snow is slippery. but anyone can climb the Great Wall. If you've got if you take the cable car up, you're already there, and then you can just walk along whichever side you want. I went up the steeper side, but there's a more flatter side. Yeah, the snow makes it really special, and especially coming from Hong Kong where there's no snow, really special to be able to see the snow like this. So Neil's asking if there's a fee. There is a very small fee you have to pay. So I'll tell you what the fees are. So you have to get to this part of the wall. You need to take a bus. It's just 2.5 hours. So you can get a bus, and then on top of that, you need to pay for a shuttle, and then I think that there's a fee, but it's really, I think it's like $1 or something. It's not very much. And then the big expense is getting here and taking the cable car. So you get a return cable car, which is like, I think it's like $20 return or something. If I remember correctly. Now, along the whole of the Great Wall, they've got cameras set up. In fact, all over China, there's cameras everywhere, just making sure that, monitoring everybody and making sure they're doing the right thing. And in fact, you feel very safe in China. I can tell you, I was in Shanghai and I dropped my glove, and then I went to a restaurant, and then while I was waiting for the food, I went and looked for my glove, and I found it was still lying in the street. So China is a place you can feel very safe. And and this is this is really funny. I didn't expect this, but they're the cats of the Great Wall. That was one of them. There were a couple. I saw a couple, and that was one of them. So just where that tower is there, just past there is the entrance, where the cable car entrance is. I think we should be able to see it when we get to the next tower. And then also just past the next tower is just a long walking section, which I had a little bit of time to explore as I finished filming. When we got back to the cable car, I had a little time to explore that section. It was also equally spectacular. Roller skating pony asks, are there sections that are better impaired for mobility? Yes, there are. So there are flatter sections, and I would say I think this section is especially like well suited because it's certain parts of it are very flat, and and I've taken you along the steepest section, but there are much more flatter sections. I wouldn't recommend walking on that snow because it does get very slippery. Yeah, they're saying just be careful because you're going up. And I would add another sign, don't step on the ice. It is slippery. So we're going to go through this this tower, and then we should be able to see where the cable car is, where we started, and there's a sign there that says UNESCO World Heritage Site. There we go. Look at that. Amazing, that's how far we've walked, up to that the topmost part of the wall. That's where we started our tour. And here we are, just a few steps away from the cable car. Oh, so this is in 2010. They shot a movie here called "If You Are the One" too, and they shot a scene right here where we are now, and so they just put up a little memorial over there. There's another one of the the Great Wall Cats. Yes, I did. So I haven't figured out a way to have the sound and have me speak clearly, my audio clear. I haven't figured out to do that because I'm doing live talking, so I'm figuring that out. So I've just muted. So just where this hill is over here, that's where you're gonna find the cable car. And so if you find yourself in Beijing, I'd really recommend that you take some time out, a day out, and come to, I think there's about 3 different sections you can visit. I visited the Mutianyu section. There's also the Badaling section. I'm a little bit biased, but I think the Mutianyu section is great because the Badaling section, even though it's very accessible and you can get there by high-speed train or bus, there are going to be a lot more people there, and you don't have a cable car or a ski lift to take you to the top. You have to hike up. So by the time you get to the start of the Great Wall, you're already exhausted. If you come here to the Mutianyu section, you can just take a cable car directly to the wall and then use your energy to walk on the wall and really enjoy it. So we've gone from the one side, top tower, to this tower over here where the cable car is. It's taken us about 45 minutes, taking a slow walk. And when we turn, we'll walk through that tower over there, and then we'll look back again. Look at that. I remember climbing this, and when the moment I got to this entrance, somebody was trying to take a selfie or trying to take a photo. So I had to wait for them for a second. So we'll see that now. Yeah, here they are. They're wanting to get that perfect picture. So this part, this particular, oh, that's a perfect shot right here. Look at that. The great thing about YouTube is you can come back. If you want to get a postcard, you can easily rewind, go back to that moment and pause. And get that perfect moment. You can see everybody's dressed very warmly because it's middle of winter, but we're very lucky with this particular day. Oh, wow. Yeah, so from here you can go down. There's a little village below. That on the right hand side is the entrance. This right over here, cable car entrance. Boom. So about a 48 minute walk. So you just walk over there, go down, and there's your cable car. I'm just going to take us a little bit further. I want you to be able to see the cable car. The cable car that's there on the right behind the trees. And there's the other section of the Great Wall that we don't get to visit because it's just, the Great Wall is so long. So we're going to turn around here. We're going to have one more look. So that's the section of the Great Wall we didn't get to visit today. I tried to zoom in, but the quality wasn't great, so I just left it zoomed out. And then we're gonna look back at where we've come. Yeah, I was doing about 20,000 steps a day in China. And there we have it. That was an amazing trip. I'm gonna show you now just one more picture of the Great Wall itself. So this gives you, I always thought that the Great Wall was just one long wall, and but you can see here there's the different sections of the wall. Going all the way from the coast to Inner Mongolia. So, yeah, there were no toilets along the whole of the Great Wall, but there were toilets at the cable car. So, yeah, just so you know. So we got another, I think, 4 or 5 amazing tours planned. We're going to go to the Forbidden City. We're going to go to the Temple of Heaven. This is these are like both are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and then we're also going to be going to the Ming Tomb. So this is the Great Wall was built to protect the Ming tombs. Think of it as like where all the emperors from the Ming dynasty, that's in the 15th century, were buried. And we're going to go going there, and finally we're going to be going to a walk along in Shanghai along something called the Bund. That's where all the international companies put their buildings, and we're going to walk along. That's going to happen at the beginning of next month. And Gabby's asking about PayPal. If you want to tip, you can just check out my channel. You can go to there's the, I can't remember, the Buy Me a Coffee thing, and all your tips are going towards my friend Paula, who had to have a special spinal surgery. So that's what if you want to tip, that's where it's going to go. You can also tip her directly. I'll put the link in it as well. But I hope you enjoyed this tour, and lots more to see. I'm really excited to show you what's next, and it all looks beautiful with this beautiful winter sun. Especially the opening of the Forbidden City is just like amazing. So I look forward to sharing that with you soon. Thank you so much for sticking around, and it was so great to see so many of you. I always feel like if I want to bring something, it needs to be really spectacular. So all these tours are going to be really spectacular, really special, and I'm excited to share them with you. So thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. I've been a little bit, because I've been on holiday, I've been a little bit of out the loop with traveling virtually. So I'm going to connect up, put everything on the calendar, and start doing that sometime next week. And so my tours are always on around the same time every week. So it's on whatever time you're watching it now. It's going to be at that time. So same time next week. And I think we're doing I haven't checked, but I think we're doing the Forbidden City next week. So that should be amazing. So yeah, Lethargy says, thank you for such an interesting tour. Neil says, and Cindy says, thanks so much. That was epic. It wasn't epic. Just watching it now, you have to pinch yourself to think, wow, I've been there. That was an amazing experience. It certainly was something on my bucket list, and I just feel honored that I get to share that with you. So thank you for joining me. I will see you next week, and I've got some other short videos that I'm going to make. I've got a Facebook group if you want to join that. I put some behind the scenes of like extra information there behind the scenes. So if you want to join that group, all the information is on my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and you can get alerted to all the tours I post. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.